This is a paid program. JJ Publicidad, EMR, and its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guest.
Hola, magandang hapon po mga kababayan. This is Ria Luz sa Buhay sa Amerika, right at Entro Mujeres Radio, live. And today is a very special day because andito ang Consul General all the way from Los Angeles at kasama ko rin ang aking very supportive Ate Tess, ang ating Buhay sa Amerika Committee Chair and my co-host for today, and the honor of Best Care Home of Moon Valley. Ate Tess, bago natin ipakilala ang ating guest of honor, bumati ka muna.
Of course, Ria. Well, thank you again, Ria, for having me today. And I would like to welcome Consul General Edgar Badajos. Yeah, and your company. And panoorin niyo po kami ngayong hapon. Marami po kaming mga information to share with you from the Consul General, and also questions that you have waited to be answered by our Consul General. And also, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe Buhay sa Amerika.
Thank you so much, Ate Tess Bailon. And heto na, hindi pa natin na-introduce. Alam na ng buong madla kung sino naman ang ating talagang guest of honor ngayon. Ang ating very special, very active, at higit sa lahat talagang nakaka-inspire na Consul General ng ating Los Angeles Philippine Consulate. No other than, sabi mo nga Ate Tess, Honorable Edgar B. Badajos. Sir, good afternoon po.
Magandang hapon, Ria. Magandang hapon, Tess. At sa ating mga tagapanood ngayong hapon, ako ay nagagalak na kasama kayong hapon na ito. Thank you.
Thank you po, sir. At alam kong napakahirap ng inyong pinagdaanan sa init ng Arizona. Pero lalo po sigurong mas maganda kung lapitan niyo po ng konti ang mic para mas magandang marinig ang inyong boses.
Sure.
At bago po tayo tanungan at mag-share, nandito ang Congen through the Consular Outreach at dahil din sa tulong ng PACA, Philippine American Chamber of Commerce of Arizona. And we are so glad na ang ating Honorable President, Mr. Edward Lago, is actually here also supporting our Congen. Edward, mamaya magpakita ka ng iyong kagwapuhan, ha? At higit sa lahat also ang ating Miss Etta Losario Smith, who is also working together with Edward as well as Dr. Pam Sapanta for getting the venue for tomorrow's town hall meeting with Congen. So, Congen, alam ko pong
simulan na natin.
Sige, Consul, kasi
ang pakiramdam ninyo ngayong nandito kayo sa Arizona?
Ako ay natutuwa because you're giving us a chance to talk to our fellow Filipinos and Filipino Americans in Arizona. This is our second time actually to visit the state, And I know that there are many Filipinos here. And really, since I'm a new Consul General
Yes.
here, I took the opportunity to really come here so that I can personally talk to them, communicate with them, inform them of developments, not just at the consulate, but also in the Philippines. Alam ko, sabik kayo lahat makarinig
Yeah.
ng mga balita from the primary source, as they
Yes,
say.
right. That's right.
So the primary source is none other than the Philippine Consulate General. And today, we are ready to answer any question that you may have about our services, about what is happening back home, for as long as we do our dialogue in a civil and a professional manner.
Right.
We are
Yes
ready to
po.
respond to your answers.
Oo, maraming
Yeah, I watched your show last time, Rhea, with the Consul General. That was very informative.
Thank you very much.
And I
Yeah.
have 2 questions there that were
Oh.
answered. And
Right.
I still have
Tanong
another
mo natin.
question
Go
that I'm
ahead.
going to ask.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
Actually, yeah, so do you want me to ask
Yes,
questions
yes.
now?
Ayun,
Or there has
tanungin mo na si Conjen kasi ready na siya.
Yes, yes. You mentioned Consul General about the dual citizenship.
Yes.
And you mentioned about that if you're a US citizen, you cannot purchase land, but you
Yes.
can purchase condominiums in the
Condominiums, yeah.
Philippines.
Correct.
How about if you acquire, you purchase a land in the Philippines before the law was implemented? When was this law about purchasing?
The dual citizenship law, I
tanong yan,
think,
Tek.
was enacted back in the early 2000.
Oh,
Yeah, and under the law, once you reacquire dual citizenship, then you again become a full Filipino citizen. What does that mean? And that means, in particular, specifically to your question, you can acquire lands in the Philippines, you can acquire condominiums in the Philippines. So therefore, you can do things that you cannot do if you're just an American citizen. Properties that you acquired before the law came into effect, you continue to own them.
I see.
Properties that you inherited from your parents, you continue to own them. Wala pong epekto ang ating batas doon.
Okay, so
And,
that, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh. So that was
Na-excite ka natin.
enacted in 2000.
Early 2000.
Early
yeah.
2000. Okay,
Because
go
I
ahead.
remember I was in Toronto during that time when we were first implementing this law. And in the beginning, we had a hard time actually selling the dual citizenship law. Parang walang gusto ng mga kababayan natin. Ang kukunti ang nag-apply. We were really promoting that we now have a dual citizenship law. But now, during this time, we are seeing really an upsurge in the number of people like you who
Yeah.
want again to become Filipino citizens. And that's a very encouraging sign.
Right,
Especially with the coming Philippine national elections
Right.
next year.
Right.
Because only, of course, citizens of the Philippines can
Can
vote
vote,
for the
yeah.
next president, vice president, senator, and party list representatives of the Philippines in next year's elections.
Maganda po yan,
Yeah.
Conjen.
Yeah.
Total, nasabi niya na po yung
Yes,
votes.
yes.
Itong voting
Right, Rhea.
this of election that is coming up.
Right.
Paano po ang mga Pilipino rito sa Amerika ay participate dito sa upcoming election?
Magandang tanong yan, Rhea. No? Alam niyo po, yung ating registration for overseas voting, nagsimula po yan dito sa consulate since December 2019. And the last day for registration as overseas voter is already on September 30, 2021. You just have a few days left
Wow.
to register.
To register.
So my question to you, fellow Filipinos and fellow Filipino Americans here, what have you been doing since December 2019 if you are still not registered as an overseas voter? You have to take this opportunity. We are talking of the right of suffrage, which simply means the right to vote. This right, although it is constitutionally guaranteed, it has to be acted upon. Right? It is not self-executing. You have to take action. And what does that mean? You have to register as an absentee, as an overseas voter. You come to the consulate, register, so that next year you can vote. But what is more important is that you not just vote, but you vote wisely.
And
Yeah.
sabi niyo po, Conjen, ay pumunta sa
It has to
consulate.
be in person. It has to be in person. That is
Wala pong-
according to the COMELEC regulations. Because you have to remember, we are
That's
just
true.
implementing agencies. It's the COMELEC really that is implementing our election laws. Okay? it has to be in person. Kaya mga kababayan natin po na nanonood ngayon, please go out and register. This is your chance. Masyado hong importante
Yes.
ang ating election next year because this
Yes.
will be the post-pandemic period.
Yes.
It will determine the future of our country, for the next few years.
Tama po.
Right? For the long term,
Yes.
who will be the next leader of our country? If you are going to be silent and not exercise your vote, then what will happen? Then you will again start complaining if you find out that something's wrong
That's
with the
true.
leadership of our country. But you have to ask yourself, when it was time for you to register, when it was time for you to vote, what did you do? Were you just sitting in
Right.
your comfortable room, observing things? Hindi dapat ganon. You have to be exercising your civic duty.
Eh,
Di ba?
ang problema po, kailangan dual citizen ka lang
Kailangan
pala.
yun.
Dual.
Kailangan
Oo.
naman
Kaya
yun, of
talagang,
course.
besides po sa...
Or you're a permanent resident, right?
Yeah, because you're still a Filipino citizen.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So, kailangan po talaga, hindi lang pala beneficial na economically na maging
Hindi lang
Filipino
yun. Dual citizen.
Yeah.
Right.
You will be able to again
lot.
exercise all your political and economic rights as a
Rights.
Filipino citizen.
True.
Right?
True.
And there's nothing to lose but everything to gain.
That's
You
right.
do not worry about being taxed because you will not be taxed by the Philippine government on your income here in the United States. The only exception is that if you own properties in the Philippines, of course, itatax ka doon
Oh, yes,
for the
yes.
property tax.
Right.
If you earn income in the Philippines, of course you will be taxed in the Philippines. But you're just earning income here in the United States, you don't worry.
Right.
Hindi
right.
ka hahabulin ng BIR.
Right, right.
Okay?
So talagang maraming benefit na
Marami.
maging dual citizen.
Marami.
Yes,
Nothing
marami.
to lose.
Conjen, natutuwa po kami at kahit po bago lang kayong Consul Gen ng LA, I see na napaka-active ninyo
Oo.
sa community and throughout, even on social media. Isa po akong follower ng
Thank you very much.
Consul page and I saw na marami kayong event almost like every week. In fact, today, even though you're an outreach, meron din kayong event
Nangyayari
online
ngayon.
ng Malong.
Oh, really?
Hindi lang yun.
Wow.
May online malong, mayroon din tayong ongoing consular service sa LA.
Hindi lang po sa Arizona.
Nagtatrabaho kami dito, meron din sa LA ngayon, nagtatrabaho. Sabay.
Wow.
Because we would like to really reduce the backlog
Yeah,
of applicants. Alam niyo naman ang nangyari. Dahil sa pandemya, we had to shut down last year for 2 months.
Ayan. May nagtatanong po pala, sorry.
How to apply for
Yeah.
dual citizenship? Can I answer it
Yes,
already?
sir.
Para madali
Yeah,
natin?
yes.
It's simple. You just go to the consulate, bring your old Philippine passport, and another proof that you are still a Filipino citizen, meaning you can bring your birth certificate and your permanent naturalization certificate. Okay? Just those things. Then if you're able to do that, then you can register as a dual citizen.
Are these online?
Yes.
Those requirements?
That's
okay.
the other thing that I'd like to tell our viewers at sa mga kababayan natin dito sa Arizona, sa Southern California, at sa Southern Nevada.
Sir,
Lahat ho ng impormasyon na gusto
Is
yung
online.
malaman can be found online
Yes. I
in our
see.
Facebook page, in our website. If you have all the time to do Facebook, if you have all the time to do TikTok, find time to read our website. All our announcements about the services of the consulate, all the requirements can be found there. Be a responsible citizen. Huwag kayong puro spoon feeding.
That's right.
You have to,
That's right.
leave behind that mentality. Especially since you are in America,
Right.
where you are taught to be self-reliant and independent.
Yes.
Okay?
And yun po, siguro pwedeng gawin ng somebody should do that on TikTok. Yung,
Kaya nga eh.
how to be a dual citizen.
May panahon ka mag-TikTok, may panahon ka mag-chat sa Facebook,
Yes.
tapos tatanungin mo sa akin, nasan ho bang konsulado? Anong oras kayo bukas? Paano mag-apply for dual citizenship? Okay. They're all in the web. They're all in the website. Please do your homework
Yes.
as a
yes.
responsible, civic-minded Filipino citizen. There's
yeah.
nothing to lose.
So,
Okay.
Sorry, Ria. So how about when you apply, you said you have to go there in person.
Yes.
So do you have to make an appointment?
You have to.
Oh, okay.
We have to set an appointment system.
So by
For-
calling the
by
consulate?
going to our website
Online?
also.
Okay.
There's an online link that you can go visit for you to be able to get an appointment.
I see.
I know that it's been very difficult to get an appointment. The limited po yung slots na ating pwedeng tanggapin sa konsulado because of the pandemic. We are no different
Yeah.
from any businesses who have to observe
Right.
health protocols. We cannot admit 1,000 or even more
Right.
people at the consulate at any given point in time because of social distancing protocols.
Right.
Hindi ba?
Correct.
If you have a house, I think I asked it to somebody before, and you are told that your occupancy in your house is only 5, and you suddenly accept 100 people, pupuntahan ka ng police, sisitahin ka, di ba?
I thought
And
that's
fire
only-
marshal. Ganon din sa konsulado.
Ano yan? I think that's only for buildings, businesses, but for houses, if you have a big party, you can have
Yeah, but
50 people.
I think they will still call your attention about
Is that
it,
right? So-
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there are limitations.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
these limitations are not by our own making. These are because of city and state standards,
Standards,
health standards
correct.
that we have to follow, just like any other business.
Yeah.
Right?
Agree.
Yeah.
Maraming salamat po, Conjen. At kahit na busy kayo
Yeah.
sa lahat ng inyong mga ginagawa, ay
Right.
binigyan nyo ng
Of
pagkakataon
course.
ang ating mga kababayan sa Arizona.
Oo.
Dahil yun ang Ate Tess, nag-promise si Conjen na babalik siya. And,
Yeah.
And he's here.
And he's here. And
Yeah.
he even promised to come to Buhay sa Amerika when
Yes.
he was back.
And I really
At,
thank you, Ria, through your program, and of course, Ente Mujeres here, for giving us this opportunity to visit you and to be able to talk to our
Yes.
fellow Filipinos. It's a very good and excellent opportunity.
And
Yeah.
by the way po, Conjen, bigyan ko din po ng shoutout ang
Okay.
ating President
Please do.
Edward
Yeah,
Lago.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Talagang working
Very
hard
active,
yan.
yeah. Yeah, we have to thank him.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Pangka. Yeah.
Ate Tess, Ate Ethel
Ethel.
Rosario.
Yeah, in fact,
last
since-
time po na sila ang co-host ko
Correct,
at saka
correct.
si Miss Sharon
That's
Baisan.
true. And in fact, I would have to really mention also that since yesterday, inaalagaan po kami ng grupo nila Edward.
Yes.
Napakabait nila, very hospitable, very welcoming. We feel very much at home
Yun nga
here
po.
in Phoenix, in Arizona.
Yun nga po yung tanong ko. Ano po ang experience ninyo? Anong pakiramdam ninyo
I feel
na...
like it's a home away from home.
That's
Yeah.
nice. That's
Right?
nice.
And this is only possible because of people like you. You,
Thank you,
and Edward, and all the members of FACA.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the
Ibig
members.
sabihin yan, Consul General, talagang babalik-balikan nyo ang Arizona.
Balik-balikan
Yes.
natin. Why not?
In fact, Ate Tess, inaawitan natin ang consul na maybe someday, dahil mahal ang building sa California, maybe they can decide on moving to Arizona dahil Arizona is now becoming really populated with Filipinos. In
Yes.
fact, kahit po, Conjen, kwento ko lang sa inyo, na kahit po hindi kami kasing dami ng nasa LA or California na Pilipino, ang mga Pilipino po dito sa Arizona ay nagtutulungan.
Okay.
Ang bayanihan
Good.
spirit po is alive in
That's
Arizona.
good. Yeah, maganda yan.
In
Alam
fact,
mo, yan ang magandang karakter ng Pilipino
i-shout out ko lang po yung Team Rochelle na
Yeah.
mga kababayan natin na
Yeah.
nagbebenta ng chocolate
Fundraise.
para lang tulungan ng isa nating
Oh, yeah.
kababayan.
That's
At
nice, yeah.
another teacher, si Marcy Goma, is already initiating a fundraising and gathering things for the upcoming 27 Filipino teachers that are coming to Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
And isa lamang po yan sa mga magagandang gawain ng ating mga kababayan dito
Nice,
sa Arizona.
yeah.
Kaya
Happy to
tamang-tama po ang sabi nyo, Conjen, feel nyong at home kayo sa Arizona. Dahil
Right.
po, kagaya ni Ate Tess, yan, ang mga
Yeah.
buhay-buhay sa Amerika, sila po ang naging dahilan, kaya po nagtuloy-tuloy ang show. Kaya
good.
sana po, Conjen, ay mas madalas pa namin kayong makasama.
Yes.
Yes.
Basta ba ho, tayo ay walang ibang commitment at
Yes.
may chance na bumalik dito ay talagang babalik kami.
Yes.
Okay.
Ano po ang inyong gustong ipahayag sa ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo po ngayon?
Well, unang-una nga yung absentee vote, overseas
Yes.
voting registration. This is to me a very personal advocacy because we would like our fellow Filipinos to really participate actively in the upcoming Philippine national elections. This is an opportunity, as I said, that is constitutionally guaranteed, but it has to be acted upon by the individual voter. You have to register, and next year you have to go out and vote, and not just vote, but to vote wisely, so that we will be electing the correct leaders who will lead the country in the next within the next for next 6 years. The second thing is to ask for the understanding of our fellow Filipinos in Southern California, in Southern Nevada, and in Arizona, because I know that we are having some difficulties in getting appointments for your consular services. But don't worry, we are doing everything we can para ho ma-reduce natin ang backlog. In fact, we have already been doing a lot of measures to reduce the backlog, including number one, increasing the appointment slots. From before 96, now we are admitting 150 passport applicants per day. And next month, I've already given instructions that releasing appointment slots, please, sa mga viewers, please take note of this. Whereas today, we are releasing slots on a monthly basis. By October, we will be releasing slots on a weekly basis para mas mabilis ang turnover. And we will see whether there will be some improvement in the in getting appointment slots. We are doing consular Saturdays. Ibig sabihin, habang merong nag-work dito, bukas din ang ating konsulado sa Los Angeles. We are doing consular outreach programs like what we're doing here now since May 2021. In fact, since the beginning of January up to July, we have already rendered a total of 20,000 consular services. And that's 20,000 on-site, meaning doon ginawa sa LA. The rest ginawa outside LA. Okay? And soon, I already mentioned to Rhea that on September, sometime in the third week of September, we will be opening a passport renewal center off-site, independent from the consulate on Wilshire Boulevard, so that Filipinos applying for a Philippine passport will have an option of going to this site to apply for passport renewal. So if you're having difficulty getting appointment at the consulate on Wilshire Boulevard, you can go to this site and apply for passport renewal. So meron na kayong option.
And sana po ay magkaroon din ng passport ng site dito sa Arizona, no?
That's a possibility in the future, but this is something that we need to take up with the Department of Foreign Affairs in Manila. This is something that we cannot decide at our level.
I think the Department of Foreign Affairs will appreciate your initiative doing that, Conjen.
Yeah.
At yeah. So
Yung Consul
Yeah.
General.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, nawala yung isip ko.
mainit kasi ngayon, ate. Nakainom ka na muna ba?
No, it's
By the way,
okay.
Conjen, kayo po ay bago sa Arizona.
Yeah,
Make sure
I kept
po
drinking
na
water.
uminom
Yeah.
ng maraming tubig.
Right.
Ang sino ang pupunta sa Arizona, pag hindi kayo used sa climate dito, talagang madidehydrate kayo. In fact, swerte nung kanina nung pumunta po kayo sa Nanay's Restaurant, ay malamig-lamig pa. On the way here, 111 na ang temperature. Kaya talagang mainit. So, sabi ko nga po, mainit ang pagtanggap ng tao dito. Conjen, nakikita niyo po yung nasa harap ninyo.
Yeah,
meron pong bigay ang Sweet Treats of Arizona for you.
Maraming
Personally,
salamat to
Sweet Treats of Arizona.
Thank you very
Cecil
much.
Rivera Maglalang po. Siya ay isa po sa Buhay sa Amerika Committee, and in fact, the voiceover of Buhay sa Amerika.
Great.
She came very early to bring this.
Yeah.
And
Okay, back to dual citizenship,
Sure.
Consul General.
ready ka
Because-
nang mag-dual citizenship, I think.
I don't know yet. But say you're in the Philippines and you would like to apply for the dual citizenship. So that will be available there as well?
You can go to the Bureau of Immigration.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where you file your
So
application.
Bureau of Immigration,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, because it's really the Bureau of Immigration that's the implementing agency.
Okay, not the Department of Foreign Affairs.
We are just serving as a conduit, as an extension, as an implementing agent of this law, which
I
is
see.
the mandate really belongs to the Bureau of Immigration.
Okay.
Okay?
Gotcha.
Now, I think I need to clarify one thing. Ito yung minention ko kay Rhea kanina sa lunch. Ito yung pumunta kanina na nurse, may anak siya na pinanganak dito sa Amerika.
Yeah.
So because the child was born in America, because of the principle of jus soli, by place of birth, the son also becomes an American citizen by operation of law. And since Amerikano na siya, I asked the lady, when he was born, were you still a Filipino? And she said yes. And therefore, your son is also a Filipino citizen automatically by operation of
is that
law.
right?
Because she was there in at Holiday Inn to apply for dual citizenship for herself and the
Right.
son. Sabi ko, hindi kailangan.
That's right.
Yung anak mo is Filipino na
Yes.
from birth. Ang gagawin mo lang is to report his birth to us. Then after that, you can apply for a Philippine passport already for him. Ganun yun. So let us inform our viewers that if you are in this situation, that you have a child who was born here in America and you were still a Filipino, that child of yours is a Filipino automatically. And
Wow.
also an American citizen because of the principle of jus
Oh, okay, gotcha.
soli.
Okay.
So all you need to do, therefore, is to report the birth of the child to the Philippine consulate so that he can now apply for a Philippine passport.
Okay.
Magandang
Tingnan niyo po.
ano yan, ha?
Ayun,
Magandang
tingnan niyo.
idea.
Ang daming natututunan
Yes.
natin ni Consul General. Kaya
Ito
kung may mga tanong kayo, sulat nyo, i-post nyo at tatanungin natin
Yes.
si Consul General.
Napakagandang information yun.
Yes.
Kasi ako mismo, hindi ko alam na yung
Hindi
anak
ko
ko
rin
pala
alam.
Filipino citizen na rin dahil nung...
You just need to report.
Yeah.
Report lang.
Yes.
Ang problema lang natin, wala tayong consul dito sa Arizona, kaya kailangan pumunta pa tayo ng LA.
We have to go in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. I have more.
So, meron kayong narinig ko na merong police attaché, merong labor attaché. So, ano po ang mga agencies pa nakasama ninyo?
Okay. Kami dito, Philippine government, we operate under the principle of one country team approach. Meaning we pursue our respective mandates, but we have to coordinate with one another. Ano yung mga ibang ahensya ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas na nandito? Kasama natin ang Department of Labor through the Office of Labor Attaché. Kasama natin ang Trade Attaché na kinatawan naman ng Department of Trade and Industry. Kasama natin ang SSS, Social Security System ng Pilipinas. At meron din tayong Police Liaison Officer. So, apat po ang... more important, isa pa, napaka-importante, ang Tourism Attaché. Why are they here? Because we are doing not just consular services, we are doing also economic diplomacy, meaning we promote the bilateral investment, trade relations of the Philippines and the U.S., we do also cultural diplomacy. Kasama dyan, both under economic and cultural, yung tourism promotion natin. Because tourism is a big generator of local employment.
Right.
In fact, before the pandemic, Philippine tourism industry was contributing almost 10% to the Philippine GDP. Malaki.
Malaki nga
But
yun.
because of the pandemic, bumagsak ang tourism arrivals. So we have a tourism attaché here to promote the beauty of the Philippines.
Yes.
For foreigners to visit the Philippines. Because the more visitors we have, the more that we're able to generate local employment. Diba? And we have the police attaché so that he will be the one in charge of developing also the excellent military relations and police relations between the Philippines and the United States. Remember that we are confronting a very the menace of terrorism, and we have to work with countries, including the United States, in fighting against this menace. Right? Yeah.
True.
Sandali lang, Ate
Yeah.
Tess. Napakarami nating information na natutunan kay Conjen at talagang napapanganga ako, nakalimutan kong mag-commercial.
Okay.
Biyan ko
Naalala ko nga yun.
Napaganda yung usapan.
Mag-break po muna kami and we'll be right back for more information from our Consul General right after this.
At Magbabalik po ang buhay-buhay sa Amerika. Huwag kayong aalis. Nagbabalik ang buhay-buhay sa Amerika ni Rhea Luz.
Hello everyone! Nako, maraming salamat po for tuning in, and now we have with us live in person the Consul General of Los Angeles, Consul General Edgar Badajos. Sir, maraming salamat
Thank you.
po sa lahat ng information na ibinigay niyo sa amin at inspirasyon din na marami kaming natutunan ni Ate Tess at I'm sure na ang mga kababayan natin ay magkakaroon ng magandang idea na bumoto for next year.
Yes.
At sabi niyo nga po, kanina po ay isinare niyo ang mga labor attaché and police attaché.
Yes.
I heard na online po ang ating assistant labor attaché.
si Miguel.
Si Attorney Miguel Ignacio Maria S. Castriciones. Hello, Attorney. Good afternoon.
Magandang hapon po, Ms. Rhea Luz, Ms. Tess Bailon. Salamat po sa Entre Mujeres Radio. At salamat din po, Consul General Edgar Badajos po for this slot for Polo Los Angeles po. Salamat po.
Welcome po, Labor Attaché, Attorney. Hindi po namin maakalain na ganyan kayang ang mukha ng ating labor attaché. At gwapo pa. Mukhang isa yata sa requirement ni Conjen ang mga gwapo at magagandang staff.
Pangalawa lang po kay Conjen.
Magaling ka nga sumagot. Kaya pala, lawyer nga ito. Sir, kanina po, nagtatanungan kami ni Ate Tess, ano ba ang trabaho ng labor attaché dito sa consulate, Philippine Consulate? Pwede niyo po bang i-share sa amin kung ano ang inyong trabaho? Ang
Ma'am, I will
responsibility?
be answering pursuant dun sa delegated authority po sa akin ng aking boss at head ng Polo, si Labor Attaché Army Evangel Peña po. Currently po, meron siyang hinahandle ng mga labor cases po sa Guam. So ang labor attaché po, siya po ang alter ego ng ating Secretary of Labor and Employment. Pagdating sa mga matters dito sa host country, patungkol sa labor at sa ating mga overseas Filipino workers po. Bali pagdating po sa cases inherently labor in nature, sa employer-employee relationship po, sa pagle-labor market po, in terms of finding jobs for our Filipinos back there in the Philippines to be deployed here to the host country, at pati na rin po sa verification services. Ang verification services po ay ang pagtukoy ng existence nitong employer na sila ay may capacity to hire our overseas Filipino workers at the prescribed rates and pursuant to the POEA Standard Employment Contract, at pati na rin respecting the labor laws of the host country po. Ayun.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong sagot, At ngayon ay naliwanagan na kami kung ano ang ano ang trabaho ninyo. Tsak na sana po ay hindi masyadong maraming problema dito sa Amerika kumpara sa ibang bansa.
Yeah, I have a
Opo.
question.
Yes, si Ate Tess ay may tanong po.
Yeah, attorney, I have a question.
Yes, Ma'am Tess.
Yeah, for example, if Filipino workers were hired in the Philippines and came to the United States as contract workers, and I know this happened in the past, so, and then they came to the United States without a job, but they were hired from the Philippines, came here, and no jobs. These were hotel workers back
Yes.
then. So, with, as labor attaché,
Attaché,
as labor attaché, would you guys be able to assist these workers, contract workers? So is this part of the job that you guys are?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am Tess, to answer that question po, we will be able to help in facilitating as far as referring them or recommending them to the U.S. Department of Labor. Because technically speaking, ma'am, if we were to get into technical terms, overseas Filipino worker, ma'am, is that which has been processed, those employment documents which have been processed by the POEA and by the Philippine Overseas Labor Office. So, base po dun sa inyong example, na ni-recruit po sila directly without the intervention of POEA or POLO. Marahil po ay pumunta sila dito sa pamamagitan ng tourist visa po. Tapos thereafter, hinire na lang po sila. Ay, base nga rin po dun sa sinabi ni Conjen, one country team approach din po tayo na pagdating sa mga ganyang matters, meron din po tayong assistance to nationals section po ng konsulado po na maaari pong upon our coordination with them also, we would be able to help find the best means of resolving their case and referring them to the proper authorities which would help resolve their problem po.
Okay.
Ang mga J1 visa po ba kasama
That's
din
the
sa
one.
mga ganong sitwasyon, attorney?
Yes, Ma'am Ria, ang J1 visa po ay under po sa isa pang sangay ng gobyerno which is the CFO or the Commission of Filipinos Overseas. Ang pagdating po sa POEA, Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, and POLO contracts, technically speaking po, we cover the H visas po. H working visas, H1B, H2B, which are working visas of a temporary nature. Temporary nature lamang po dito. Implicit dun sa H visa ay babalik po talaga sila sa Pilipinas at the end of the working visa po. Kasama rin po ang L visas or intra-corporate visas. So yung J1 visa po, yung summer internship, yung work internship programs po, ay napapabilang sa Commission on Filipinos Overseas po, Ma'am Rhea.
Magandang sagot niyo po
Yeah.
at
Very
balita ko, Conjen, tomorrow sa ating town hall meeting. Isa yan sa mga topic na mainit na
Right,
topic
you're right.
ng
Yeah.
ating mga kababayan.
Correct.
Thank you po, attorney.
Thank
At,
you so much.
Thank you po, Ma'am Tess. Conjen,
Yes.
salamat po.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you. May I just
Yes
follow
po.
up on what
Yes po.
Miguel mentioned? Sa makatuwid, yung ating pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga Pilipino dito ay mahahati sa tatlo. Yung mga dumaan sa POEA, na process ang kanilang mga papeles sa POEA, kapag sila ay nagkaproblema, ang unang-unang tutulong sa kanila dapat ay ang opisina ni Attorney Miguel. Because they are what you would call overseas Filipino workers in the true sense of the word. Okay? Kapag merong pumasok dito na Pilipino na walang dokumento, ibig sabihin technically hindi dumaan sa POEA. Nagturista lang, katapos naghanap ng trabaho, walang nahanap, or isang seafarer, pumasok dito, nakakita ng nobya, naghiwalay, tas wala nang nangyari, or pinatisyon ng isang fiancé, nung dumating dito, binugbog at wala nang nangyari. Okay? Yung mga yan na hindi dumaan ng POA, papasok naman sa amin sa consulate. Dahil meron kaming tinatawag na Assistance to Nationals section. Kapag ang pinag-uusapan ay mga J1 visa naman, sila naman ay alagain ng tinatawag na Commission on Filipinos Overseas.
Yes.
But
CFO.
since there is no CFO overseas, there's no CFO in Los Angeles, then it is the Philippine Consulate who will look after them.
I see.
Because we operate under the one country team approach. Okay? So kung universe yan, isang circle, 1/3 of that would be the OFWs who will be taken care of by POA through the labor attaché. Another 1/3 of that will be the assistance to nationals, meaning mga hindi dumaan, all others na hindi dumaan sa POA. And then the the other third would be the J1 visa and all others. Okay? Pero lahat kami tulong-tulong yan. So kapag merong kunyari, ito recent lang, merong ire-repatriate, meaning papauwin sa Pilipinas, na kababayan natin na nag-TNT siya dito, matagal na, wala na, nagbakasakali, wala siyang nahanap. Ito yung seafarer Nagtrabaho siya, una sa isang caregiving agency, nawalan ng trabaho, undocumented, and then ngayon nahirapan na siya, gustong umuwi. So we are helping that Filipino. And what assistance do we give?
Yeah.
Ang binibigay natin ay financial assistance kung qualified yung tao. Ang binibigay natin na tulong ay medical assistance kung talagang meritorious ang kaso. At finally, repatriation assistance. Papauwiin natin yan, kababayan natin. And we have been doing that in the Middle East. Yung ating mga repatriation flights.
Yeah.
Bayad na ng ating gobyerno yan. When I was in Jeddah, we repatriated more than 3,000 Filipinos. All expenses paid by the Philippine government. During the pandemic, 6 flights ng Philippine Airlines binayaran natin. Ginagawa na natin yan. What maybe our fellow Filipinos think that all we do at the consulate is just process passports, just issue visas. We don't just do those. Marami kaming ibang trabaho. Meron kaming assistance to national. In fact, today, we are helping 137 Filipinos with criminal cases. We have already disbursed more than $31,000 by way of medical assistance to Filipinos in distress. And we are also helping more Filipinos with many other cases by referring them to lawyers, by referring them to NGOs like the Filipino Workers Center in LA. Marami tayong ginagawa.
And in fact, Conjen, kahit na po yung pag-visit nyo pa lang dito, malaking bagay po ang nabigay ninyo. Kanina nung pumunta po kayo sa Nanay's at sa Flaming Fig yesterday, I'm sure na it gained some confidence for others na I'm going to go to that restaurant. And sabi niyo po kanina ay dahil nga wala pong tourism ngayon dahil sa pandemic.
Bagsak
Ang ating pong sabi niyo last time, kaming nandito sa Amerika ang mga ambassadors din.
Correct.
Yes.
That's true. That's true.
Conjen, napansin niyo po yung bag na dala-dala ko.
Maganda.
Ito po ay bag ng Leon.
Wow.
Iloilo.
Nice.
Na tinutulungan ko po yung taga Iloilo na kaibigan ko na tumutulong sa kanyang mga kababayan na for Filipinos and anybody to see the beauty of Philippine bayong
Correct.
weavers.
Nice. Yeah.
Ayan kita nyo.
Maganda.
Ito na yung bago nating tourism.
Yes.
Kasi pag alam natin saan yung nanggaling, sabi nyo nga po, i-google nila yung lugar.
Right.
At makikita nila,
True.
Javier, can you make it a big shout?
There you go. Put it down, Rhea. There you go.
Beautiful.
Ganda,
Diba?
ganda.
Yes.
Yan po ang bayong.
Kasing ganda ng Pilipinas.
Yes,
Diba?
yes. At
That's beautiful.
isa rin po sa Buhay sa Amerika na isuot namin ang ating Filipino national dress.
Yeah,
At yan po ang magagawa ng Buhay sa Amerika para po sa ating turismo at
True.
para sa ating bayan.
Yeah.
At
Economy too.
Yeah. And sabi po kanina ni Sharon Jane Baisan, na ating co-host last time, ay very informative ang inyong mga binigay na informasyon at naghahay sa inyo si Sharon.
Oh, hello. Sharon.
At kanina po doon sa sa Nanays, meron siyang si Pia, sabi niya nanonood siya. So Pia at saka si Ma'am Aida ng
Right.
Nanays at si Miss Gina, hello, ng
Yeah.
Flaming Pigs.
Well, gusto ko lang idagdag, although sinabi ko na bumagsak ang ating turismo, meron na mga magandang balita.
Yeah.
In the second quarter of 2021, the Philippine economy actually grew by 11.1%.
Wow.
Lumaki siya,
Nice.
up from minus 17% during the same period last year. So gumanda.
Paano po nangyari yun?
Well, actually, this is the
In the
classic
pandemic.
example of people seeing crisis as an opportunity.
Aha.
Right? So, madaming opportunities sa Pilipinas actually ngayon. If you go back to the Philippines right now, you can feel the dynamism of the Philippine economy. Were it not for the pandemic, the Philippines was actually second only behind China in terms of our economic growth. Malakas ang ating ekonomiya. And more foreign direct investors are going into the country
That's
because they like our workforce. Our workforce is very young, very literate. We have more than 90% literacy rate. Kaya naman, I'm sure you have experience. If you call a hotline of any service provider here,
Service
chances are
center.
that service
Service
center,
center.
the one who will answer you
Yeah.
is calling from the Philippines.
Philippines.
Right?
Yeah.
Mahalata mo yun
Yeah.
Yung accent, di ba?
Yes.
Hindi ka tulang, I will not mention the other Charlotte
Yeah.
kasi halatado masyado, di ba?
Yeah.
But if you're talking to a Filipino, you can somehow sense
Alam mo,
that you're
Filipino
talking to a fellow Filipino. Like last week, I was talking to a lady and sabi niya, where are you calling? Sabi ko, where are you from? Sir, no, I'm a Filipino. Oh, sir, I'm a Filipino. I'm calling from Pasig. But she went back to the Philippines. She used to be a resident of LA.
Wow. And now
And then I asked her, why did you go back to the Philippines? Because I see a lot of opportunities in the Philippines during this time. And I tell you, if you are a corporation or a small business owner, now is the best time to go back to the country because we have reduced our corporate income tax from 30 to 25% for corporation and 20% for small business enterprises. We are now comparable with Singapore in terms of our corporate taxes. So competitive na tayo.
When
Yeah.
so sabi mo, Conjen, that this is the time to
Yeah.
and the time to
Get closer.
Invest.
in the Philippines.
Yeah.
The thing with that is, do you have to be a Filipino citizen, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter
Oh,
actually
good,
because
good.
there are just certain areas
Yeah.
of business that are reserved for Filipinos, but all others you can enter into. You can just own naman a stake in the ownership of a business, di ba? But there are some areas that are still reserved for Filipino
Filipinos,
citizens.
I see.
And that's the beauty of becoming again a Filipino
A dual.
citizen.
A dual
Yes.
citizen.
And if you plan to run for the presidency next year, you have to be a dual citizen.
Dual
Oh, you can be even a dual citizen can run for
But you have to
office.
renounce your American citizenship.
true.
Okay?
So when you are in the Philippines, you are a Filipino.
Yes.
Of course,
Right?
yeah.
And then,
Yes.
but can you also be an American at the same time when you are in the Philippines?
There's no prohibition.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's
There's no
good to know.
prohibition.
So,
Yeah.
talking about Philippines po and how improve ang Pilipinas.
Maganda.
Nag-i-improve.
Oh, wow.
I think gusto rin po nating ano po ang pakiramdam ninyo nung pumupunta kayo sa mga, kanina pinuntahan niyo po yung mga businesses ng mga Pilipino dito sa Arizona. Ano po yung feeling ninyo as a consul?
I felt so proud
Yes.
that Filipinos and Filipino Americans are doing well in America. I felt so proud being a Filipino like them because they're carrying the flag of the Philippines,
Yes.
our Filipino culture. Yung ino-offer nilang pagkain, the other nationals see the Filipino culture there.
Yes.
Diba? Nakikita ang ganda ng ating kultura
Yeah.
And I encourage you to keep doing that. I mentioned before in your program that although you're already Americans, Filipino Americans, you have to remember that you have not ceased to be a Filipino.
Yes.
And therefore, whenever you go out of your houses, you go to your workplace, you talk to your American friends or other nationalities, try to be in your best behavior. Because other nationalities will judge not just you, as an individual, but also you as a Filipino.
Yes.
And they will say, oh, ang ganda pala ng Pilipinas because of you.
Yes.
Diba?
And maibalik ko po sa local ng Arizona, ang ating pong President Edward Lago has done so much. Edward, malapit na tayong mag-end. So, I'm going to show ang ating pong President ng Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Edward Lago. Isang malaking bagay po
Yes.
ang nagawa ni Edward
Yes.
na ipag-unite ang mga small businesses
Yes, yes.
in Arizona. In fact, Edward, saludo ako sa iyong leadership at sa ginagawa mo sa Consular Outreach ngayon. At kung meron kang gustong sabihin ay the mic is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, we would like to thank Consul General Ed Badajos for having his presence here to be able to, of course, have our Filipino kababayans be able to address their questions and concerns for our town hall meeting tomorrow. So, for everyone who wants to meet the Consul General Ed Badajos, please join us at St. Paul's Catholic Church at 2 o'clock entrance. And so that way we get to meet and address what questions and issues we have.
Right. Thank you, Edward.
So much, Edward, for all your great works in our community. At, by the way, binata pa rin po si Edward. Sa mga nag-aantay dyan.
This is not for the tourism and so forth. Just a question.
Sure.
Yes.
Go
Consul
ahead.
General.
Yeah.
We
Are
got
your employees pretty much come from the Philippines or
Yes.
they're hired from here?
We have majority of them are from the Philippines, from the FA, but we also have local hires.
I see.
And there are about, I think, 5 local hires. Yeah.
5 local hires.
5 local hires,
I see.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
At siguro,
I have
pwede na tayo.
I have what is this? Taga-amin po. He was assigned in Hawaii.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But he's
Oh.
back in the
Taga-Catanduanes
Philippines
po
now.
si Ate
Oh,
Tess.
I'm
yeah.
from Catanduanes.
Back-
from the town of Tatad.
Tatad,
Kit Tatad.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
the late Kit Tatad. Oh, magaling yun.
Yeah.
And Conjen, haba pong nagsasalita kayo, ay inilalabas po natin ang ating ilan sa mga sponsors po ng Buhay-Buhay sa Amerika. And I know right after this, like Miss Tess Bailon is the Best Care Home of Moon Valley, Heritage Dentistry, Dr. Pamela Sandico Sapanta, and Dr. Lone Dow Dentistry. And of course, Miss Ethel Losario Smith ng West USA Realty. And ang Lutong Bahay po is going to be is also our sponsor, which I know after this we are going to Lutong Bahay. Kaya ini-invite po namin ang ating lahat ng kababayan na suportahan ang lahat ng ating local businesses here in Arizona kasi talagang we have so much opportunities for our kababayan to improve and to be promoted kung tayong lahat ay magsasama-samang tutulungan ang ating mga businesses. Yan yung kahapon na Conjen
Oh, yeah,
kay
yeah.
sa Flaming Pig. Yan ang
Right,
ating
yeah,
mga magigiting na consular staff na
Right.
kasama natin kagabi. Thank you so much Javier for sharing this. And also today we went to Nanay's.
Yes.
Ang gaganda ng pagkain yan. Conjen, yung kanina.
Oo nga, no?
Sa nanay yan?
Oo.
Okay.
Ang kagandahan, merong nakikita mo na ang pagkain at makikita mong masarap ang pagkain na ipin-prepare nila. Kaya nabusog po kami ng nanay kaninang umaga. At ngayong gabi ay Lutong Bahay naman ang susupuntahan.
Lutong Bahay.
Kaya maraming salamat po, Conjen, for coming to Buhay-Buhay sa Amerika.
Yes,
And
of course.
sabi nga po ni ating President Edward Lago, tomorrow, there are more chances for our kababayan to ask Conjen.
Yeah, yes.
And at St. Paul Parish Hall.
Right.
Ria, I have a question,
Yes,
if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Yung passport, Conjen, say you have an expired passport, a Filipino passport, and you are going to renew. So what is the standard procedure for that?
Ate, I think ikat ko ng konti.
Okay.
Kasi bukas magandang question yan.
Okay, sa
Kasi
okay.
5 minuto na lang tayo.
Okay.
And sabi nga ni Conjen, it's on the consular
Website.
page.
Nandun lahat.
Nandun din, okay.
Yes.
Nandun lahat.
And kasi para ma-excite ang mga taong
Yeah.
pumunta
Okay,
sa
got
ating
you.
town hall tomorrow.
Okay.
Kasi 4 minutes na lang.
Alright.
Meron po tayong at dapat papakantahin natin yung content eh. Yun ang town hall.
Sa town hall na lang.
Sa town hall, mas mahaba yung oras.
Naghahanap ko ng oras para awitan si Conjen na kumanta sa Buhay Buhay sa Amerika.
Oh, I see.
Pero this is the time po, Conjen, na we featured our upcoming events. Sabi ko nga, ito po yung September 12 at 3 p.m. The door opens at 2. At bahal tayo Pilipino, sabihin na natin 2 p.m. bukas na po para dumating sila ng 2 p.m. Kasi hanggang 2 to 5 lang ang opening ng venue, ate, ang iyong church.
Yeah, that's my church.
St.
Okay.
Paul Parish Hall.
Okay.
At 330 West Coral Gables Drive in Phoenix, Arizona. And also, we have fundraising for Rochelle. Contact Tita Isabel Macbeth. Bayanihan Project for the upcoming 27 Pinoy teachers. Javier, I have some flyers on that one. This coming October, contact Miss Marcy 𝐀𝐿𝐤a. That's the chocolate for a cause. Ito po yung sinasabi kong bayanihan to help our Miss Rochelle. Ito po is started by Phoenix Phil-Am Lions and Treasured Presence is also going to be at that St. Paul Parish Hall. Yan po yung most sought after place dito sa event, yung bukas natin pupuntahan. On November 13, 2021. Ayan, yung community bayanihan. You can help by considering donating to support these foreign exchange teachers from the Philippines. And contact Miss Marcy 𝐀𝐿𝐤a at Mr. Vicente Reed. Yan po. At also on September 18, FANOGS is going to talk about mental health awareness. The FANOG leaders are going to be our next show guest. And October 2, Miss Gail Romasanta will, as we feature the Filipino-American Heritage Month. And October 9 is Dr. Patricia Reyes as our guest. And October 22 to 24 is the $1 Million Mingle event. Kaya, sir, at sundan natin ang Lutong Bahay at 9250 North 43rd Avenue, Suite 14 in Glendale, Arizona. And they have the fresh roasted whole pork every weekend at marami pang ibang other foods if you're craving for Filipino food. At the grand opening of Face Basics, just Miss Giselle Arceo 𝐀𝐦𝐤𝐤a, the owner of this is just recently po, September 5 lang sila nag-open, Conjen. Sana po ay makabalik pa kayo at bisitahin niyo rin po ang iba pang mga businesses. Kaya lalo kayong matuwa, Conjen. So, Conjen, 1 minuto na lang po. Any word from you?
Well, again, thank you very much, Rhea, for inviting us to your program, to 𝐁𝐿𝐤a, for giving us the opportunity to come here and dialogue with our fellow Filipinos and Philippine Americans here in Arizona. Thank you, Tess, for the questions. Thank you, Edward and Faka,
Miss
for
Jos.
the hospitality. And of course, our information officer, Miss 𝐁𝐿𝐤a.
Thank you so much,
So
Miss Jos.
my last word maybe to the Filipino community is to let us maintain an open line of communication. We are just a phone call away or a text away. If you have any questions about our services, you can approach us anytime, talk to us anytime, talk to Rhea, talk to Tess, talk to Edward, and they convey your questions to you. We are at your service.
Thank you so much,
okay.
Conjen. So we'll see Conjen tomorrow at 2 o'clock at St. Paul Parish Hall. Please like and subscribe to Buhay Buhay sa Amerika for more interesting guests and interesting topics that we'll be bringing to you in our next program. Thank you so much, Conjen. Thank you, Ate Tess, Miss Jos,
Thank you very much.
and
Thank you.
Edward. God
Maraming
bless you
salamat.
all. See you. Bye.
This was Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. Join us again next time at entremujeresradio.net. Hanggang sa muli, mabuhay!